I want to say
Good day,
something.
everyone, and welcome to today's Veseris Impact
can hear you.
Extend Your Reach webinar. We have 4 great speakers, and as an added bonus, all attendees who stay for the duration of the webinar will be eligible to win one of 2 $100 Amazon gift cards. Winners will be selected and notified the following week. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items so you know how to participate in today's event. Here's a quick review of what you will see on your screen. The viewer is to the left of your screen where you see the presentation. To the right is the control panel where you can ask questions. The control panel will collapse automatically when not in use. To keep it open, click the View menu and uncheck Auto Hide Control Panel. You have joined this webinar in listen-only mode, meaning you are muted. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions for each presentation by typing your questions into the questions pane of the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time, and we will address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. In a couple of days, you will receive a follow-up email that contains a recording of the webinar along with the contact information for each presenter. So if you have questions, you can reach out to them directly. With that, I'll turn it over to Veseris Digital Marketing Manager, Jeff Fleckinger, to get us started.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Thank you everyone for joining us today for Extend Your Reach. And Andrew usually does this, so I'm gonna do my best in his absence to work through this. And just a couple things as we get started here. Wanted to just review quick, Veseris, you know, your success defines our values. That's how we built our company. Our mission is to deliver a positive impact. We build trusted relationships, connecting professionals to the products, expertise, and digital tools to exceed their expectations. Our vision is to be the preferred choice of customers, suppliers, and employees as we protect and enrich the environments where we live, work, and play. And that brings us down to, by putting people first, we guide customers forward, empowering mutual success. So today, as Chris mentioned, we're going to learn about some great products, services, and best practices. First, we have Brittany Campbell from CSI, followed by Bill Holtz from Santa Fe Dehumidifiers, Stan Cope from AP&G, and then we have our very own Aaron Montecuto from Veseris. We're going to do about 15 minutes per topic. We'll have a Q&A at the end. And then, as Chris mentioned, after the webinar, we've got some gift card winner notifications, and we'll have some contact info for you on the panelists. So at Veseris, you know, we help grow into or across multiple service areas. We serve multiple markets, not just structural pest control, but wildlife, turf and ornamental, public health, post-harvest, animal health, vegetation management, sanitation. And we have a number of products, equipment, supplies, and training so that we can help you. Starting off, we have Brittany Campbell, PhD and board certified entomologist at Control Solutions. So Brittany, I will hand it over to you. You should be all set.
I have to unmute myself first. You'd think that I would have that down by now. Common mistake that I still manage to do on a daily basis. So good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. First, I want to thank Veseris, Chris, and Jeff for helping organize this and having me and Control Solutions here today to talk a little bit about using aerosols. So like Jeff just mentioned, I'm a technical services manager at CSI. I mostly work remotely, so I am working from my home office today in Virginia, but CSI is headquartered down in Texas. So I go to Texas pretty regularly as well, so provide support, training, and I'm also on our product development team. So I help develop our newer innovative products as well. So let's talk a little bit about aerosols, how to use them, and what Control Solutions can offer from our aerosol product line. Oh, there we go. I think there's a little bit of a delay there. So first, before we can really talk about utilizing aerosols, it's kind of important to understand what even is an aerosol. What is this formulation? What are the advantages? So an aerosol essentially is where the active ingredient is dissolved, typically with some type of solvent, and it's mixed in with a propellant. So that propellant's going to be a liquefied gas, but there's also going to be a little bit of head space at the top of that can that has the gas literally in the gaseous form. So when you press on the top of that can, on that button, that purple actuator at the top there, it's essentially going to release the pressure, and then it's going to shoot out those fine airborne particles. And if you've ever been curious, how fine are aerosol particles? Well, there's some variation, right, between the products, actives, and everything. But essentially, it's going to be anywhere from 2 micrometers to 50 micrometers. So then you may ask, Brittany, what does that mean? So essentially, just think about if you're walking along a sandy beach, hopefully some of you will be this summer, you pick up a grain of sand, it's about 200 micrometers in size. So we're talking almost 100 times smaller than a grain of sand typically for these particles, which is excellent if you think about where we typically put these aerosols deep in cracks and crevices. We're getting good coverage of small little tiny particles of active ingredients so the bugs can crawl around and pick up that active if it is a residual product as well. I apologize again, my slide is not advancing. Jeff, I have lost my little arrow buttons.
Let me see if I can help you out here.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. And so some of the advantages to using aerosols, of course, why PMPs, why we like these products is because they're ready to use, right? Product, you don't have to worry about mixing. You have the correct application rate in the product. It's ready to go. Super easy to apply. Here you can see this is someone using one of our products, applying it here in a little crack, a typical place in residential kitchens in areas where pests may hide. So you can really get that product deep into those cracks and crevices where the pests are actually harboring. So that's where, you know, crack and crevice applications have been a huge part of kind of the transition in pest control. It kind of became, you know, big time in the 1980s with the advent of a lot of aerosol products as well. And it continues to still be an excellent way to get products where the bugs actually are hiding. And Jeff, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you to advance it again.
That's okay. I can go ahead and take over. You just tell me when.
Okay. Okay, and so for this particular product here, another advantage to aerosols is the fact that they are in multiple types of formulations. So this particular product is going to be a foaming product, right? So an excellent option, this product, Teco Trio, has 3 different insect growth regulators, but it's a foam. So this is going to provide that foaming action in drains, an excellent option for small flies, as well as behind equipment, other areas where you can still utilize this foam for cockroaches. And again, 3 different IGRs that provide excellent control of flies and cockroaches, and a great option in commercial kitchens. Next slide. And another advantage to aerosols also is those difficult to reach areas. So in this particular picture, if you see here, we're underneath the sink, right? You have those plumbing accesses, think behind a toilet, areas where you really need a very small targeted application. Your aerosol is going to be an excellent option because you're not going to want to put a lot of product here, right? So you want to go crack and crevice. You can use that straw, bend it upwards to reach, you know, that plumbing access right there where many pests may be hiding as well. And then, in addition, one of the advantages to many of our aerosol cans is the fact that you can turn it upside down. So if you need to get behind equipment, underneath equipment, I know, you know, as a part of being a pest control operator, a lot of times we feel like we're almost acrobats, right? We have to squeeze into tiny places and really kind of get into those more hidden areas. And so being able to flip the can upside down really is an advantage to utilizing this product. And if you're curious how this really works and how our cans are designed. The reason why you can flip it upside down is it's actually the valve. So our cans are equipped with a 360-degree valve, and essentially that works. If you look at the inside, this picture here, you see that tube kind of going to the bottom of the can there. There's a ball in that tube. So if you take that can, you flip it 180, so completely upside down, the ball falls into that tube in the bottom, and it blocks the liquid in the product from going into that tube, and all the product falls to the bottom of the can, but can still be released whenever you press the button. And when you place the can right side up, that ball falls down, and then the product's able to go up through that dip tube. But I do want to say, when we're talking about maximizing aerosol use, I want all of you to be able to use all of the product, because, you know, one of the questions we often get is, how do we use all of the aerosol? There might be some costs associated with using an aerosol product. So if you do get to about 70% of that bottle emptied, then you want to think about where that dip tube is, because you can see the tube curves. So if you start angling the bottle a little bit, the dip tube may not be able to reach that liquid. So best practice here to make sure you get every bit of product out. So if it starts just shooting out propellant, you think there's still some product in there, you shake it around, is to either hold the can completely straight up, or you can still flip it completely straight down, and that will get that last bit of product out. Next slide. And I also want to mention, I already said I am in Virginia right now. However, our headquarters, our aerosol manufacturing facility is in-house. So what this means is we have an entire warehouse manufacturing facility in Pasadena, Texas, where CSI is headquartered. You can see the line here of one of our products on our manufacturing line, but having everything done in-house in Texas, in the USA, allows us to have control over the quality, the reliability, the longevity of our products. So most of our products are going to be produced, made, and developed all within outside of Houston, Texas. So it definitely allows us to have a big focus on quality control, and we have incredible chemists and people way smarter than me who help with the quality control of these products while they're on the line, when they come off the line, and during their development as well. Next slide. So this is just a picture, our lineup here of our aerosols that are produced by CSI. So just a quick overview here. If you look left to right here, we have Defense NXT. That is going to be a premier product for bed bug control. It is labeled for mattresses. It has an adulticide, and our Teco technology, which is essentially the combination of 2 insect growth regulators, Novaluron and pyriproxyfen. So it's really combating the entire life cycle of bed bugs. And then with aerosols too, you're going to get that that contact egg kill as well. So excellent option for bed bugs. Then I'll skip over to Fuse Foam. This has imidacloprid and fipronil, again a foaming agent. So if you need to get into voids areas, it's an excellent option for ants and as termites as well with this product. We have Pivot Ultra Plus. This is going to be your great flea product. It has some IGRs and is a great option. You can do broadcast spray to carpets, striker, wasp, and hornet. This is going to be the quick kill, contact kill from 20 feet away to hornet and wasp nests. Striker 5.4 is going to be our flushing agent. I know this is a lot. Anyone has questions along the way, but if you're looking again for that, not a residual, but that quick flushing activity, Striker 5.4 is going to be your option. We have a chlorphenapyr aerosol, that's going to be Spectre, and then Teco Trio Foam, already discussed a little bit. Excellent option, again, foaming into drains for flies, and then in other areas for cockroaches as well. Next slide, please. And the one I skipped on purpose was Doxam NXT. So this is the one product I do want to highlight today. This is our latest aerosol that has been produced by Control Solutions. Next slide. And this particular product has 4 active ingredients in it. So it has indoxacarb, it has imidacloprid, Novaluron, and pyriproxyfen. So again, that combination of IGRs that are very effective in breaking the life cycle of many insect pests. And you may ask, why do we have 4 active ingredients? Well, there are 4 different modes of action. So if you go in, let's say you have a pest population, cockroaches, that are maybe have some resistance to indoxacarb. Well, when we're out in the field, we don't have access to a lab. We can't do resistance studies, right? So a lot of it is all based on what have we applied before? Do we have historical knowledge? But basically it's like, are our products working? So if there is some level of resistance, you still have an entirely different mode of action, adulticide, depending on the population. And this product's very effective for a multitude of pests. Next slide, please. And it's kind of cool, especially from a product development standpoint, the fact that our formulation chemists, again, very smart, intelligent people at CSI, who were able to figure out, okay, how do we get indoxacarb into an aerosol? This is an excellent active ingredient. It's one we're all familiar with, very comfortable with. And then also, figure out how to formulate 2 different adulticides, indoxacarb and imidacloprid, put it into this aerosol. We do have food handling on this label as well. Next slide. And here are just some of the advantages to using this product. Again, I already touched on the resistance a little bit. So you have 4 different modes of action. The rates, I mean, it can be very complicated once we start mixing our own products, but you don't have to worry about that with this particular product to know, what does this label say? What is the rate for this particular product and this particular product? The rates are already figured out. It's all been optimized for control of many pests that are going to be on that label. There are no pyrethroids. We know that pyrethroids, there's a lot of resistance to pyrethroids in multiple pests. So all of these AIs are not pyrethroids. And I think one of the biggest advantages, if you are utilizing this product with baits, there are no repellent active ingredients in this aerosol. So you can use this product in combination with your baiting program. You're not going to push any of those pests away or potentially impact that bait during the program. And then last but not least, there's no PPE required with this product, and it has a very broad label. Again, I would encourage you, if you haven't been using CSI aerosols, like this should be the first one you should try because it has a very broad label, a lot of pests on that label, and a lot of sites. So we have food handling, commercial kitchens. It's even allowed on mattresses. We do have a company that's been utilizing this product for bed bugs as well. So to have a product that's working on cockroaches, that's effective for ants, multiple pests on this label, bed bugs, it really is kind of, again, a one and all type of product. Someone has even mentioned a little bit of flushing activity. We have shown in some areas with high levels of cockroaches, a little bit of like push out there, but then you're really getting that residual activity with many of these active ingredients as well. Next slide. And so last but not least, again, if I would encourage you to check this product out if you haven't utilized our aerosols before. And if you're looking to minimize, we're always looking to minimize the number of products on our trucks, right? So I would highly encourage you to check this one out because it could be a replacement if you're using multiple products to try to utilize this as kind of a one-for-all product, aerosol product. And with that, I believe I am right on time, and I don't want to take any of our other great speakers' time today. So thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you very much, Brittany. All right. Just one moment here. Up next, we have Bill Holtz, Director of Sales for the Residential and Light Commercial Division of Thermostore. And just a moment here. You should be all set to go, Bill.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. Today, I'm going to spend some time talking about dehumidification and the business opportunity that it presents. I'm going to briefly go over the product, but most importantly, I want everybody to understand what this opportunity looks like and why the opportunity exists. I also want folks to have a good feel for what the benefits to the homeowner will be when the products are utilized properly. When we talk about dehumidification, the opportunities are truly endless. Unless you are in a desert environment or unless you're on a mountaintop, you can benefit from dehumidification. So individuals with crawl spaces can benefit, individuals with spray foam attics can benefit, and individuals with basements can all benefit from dehumidification. So the footprint and the opportunity really exists everywhere in the United States, with the exception of a desert climate or on a mountaintop. When we look at how you can generate some revenue with this and why you can generate some revenue with this, it's because we have moisture issues in most of the United States. And we have a very difficult time keeping our crawl spaces and our homes for that matter, under the 60% threshold every minute of every day. And the reason that that 60% threshold is so important is that's the point at which we can start to get microbial growth in the space. So homeowners are very in tuned to keeping their crawl spaces and their basements mold free, and they're looking for solutions to that and to that problem. And dehumidifiers are absolutely the best way to attack that. The benefits that you would have by offering dehumidification in your lineup is that it could be a potentially brand new revenue stream for you. It's untapped. Also, I think that many pest companies do what I call the $5,000 shuffle. In other words, there's a dehumidifier in the space, and you literally step over that dehumidifier to get to where you need to spray or apply your chemicals. And you should really be checking those dehumidifiers to see if they're working, because in many cases, there's a lot of Chinese import products out there. They don't work very long and they don't work very well. And there could be a huge opportunity for you to do a simple change out of a product while you're there. The margins on this stuff, it varies by market depending upon what the competitive nature of that particular area is, but it's not uncommon to see margins on this stuff of up to 60%. And these are very large ticket items. This will also allow you to enhance how your company is viewed. In other words, you're already a pest professional, and this is going to make you a indoor air quality professional. This is going to make you more of a health professional, more of a comfort professional. It gives you more of a consultative approach where you're talking about more than just applying a product and leaving. You're talking about applying something to their home that is a machine that is a very green approach to controlling pests. So mold, mildew, rodents, you name it. When we're looking at taking that relative humidity down and getting it under that 60%, we're really creating a very green solution to permanent pest control by making that space inhospitable to pests. So we all know that pests like it when it's damp, and this is definitely going to take care of that dampness for you. The other things that we look at when we apply dehumidification in other areas we can help customers is we can absolutely help customers with increasing the energy efficiency of their home. So when we properly seal up a crawl space, what we're basically doing is we're making that house more energy efficient. The other thing that we're doing is we're doing asset protection. So if we can keep that relative humidity down in that house, we're less likely to experience the buckling of the hardwood floors, the damaged cabinetry, the issues that they have with the furniture at different times of the year, actual wood rot, cupping of floors. There's all kinds of bad things that can happen if the relative humidity gets too high, in addition to having those pest problems. We know that mold and mildew is a problem. We also know that pests, again, they thrive in these damp environments. And then if we can get into a house and we can apply that dehumidification as a solution, you may have had a customer that had an $8,000 or a $10,000 or a $12,000 mold cleanup. And if the mold contractor didn't do that job properly, in other words, they cleaned up the mold, but they didn't solve the root cause of the problem, which is high moisture level, that problem is going to come right back. So this is going to be a way, again, for you to take a consultative sales approach with this customer and really increase the average ticket that you have available to you at that house. When we look at the typical non-ventilated crawl space, other things that you need to understand is that 50%, up to 50% of the moisture that is in the home actually originates in the crawl space. So 50% actually of the air that you breathe in the home originates in the crawl space through stack effect. So that can be a serious problem for homeowners. And you think about all the bad stuff that's in that air with all that bad stuff that's in it, that nasty air gets sucked into that house because that house is, again, experience a stack effect because the crawl space has not been conditioned, it has not been sealed, and it leads to serious indoor air quality issues, which, again, especially in the wake of COVID, customers are far more in tune to indoor air quality. The things that I want to stress on this is that this has to be an encapsulated crawl space. You can't just put a dehumidifier down into a crawl space on a dirt floor with open vents. You'll be trying to dry out, the world. It's just not going to work. We've got to make sure that we do a good job of a minimum putting a vapor barrier on the ground and sealing up the vents. We also know that ventilated crawl spaces, they're just not the answer. They're a problem. They are a way that homes were built decades ago, but for some reason, the building industry, well, I know what the reason is. The reason is that it's cost. They've hung on to it. And what we know is that those homes are up to 19% more likely to experience high moisture levels in them than a home that's been properly encapsulated and sealed up. So we definitely want to take the opportunity to help that customer out that way. And let's talk about how we can help you. When you talk about dehumidification and what that opportunity looks like, the opportunity is pretty epic for you. When we look at if you're making a 40% margin on the smallest dehumidifier out there, that's going to give you a sale price on a dehumidifier of about $2,200. If you simply could sell one dehumidifier a week, just one more than you're currently selling, just one more than you currently sell per week, you're going to increase your top line revenues by almost $118,000. At a 40% margin, that means that you're going to drop $4,700 or almost $4,000 in gross profit every single month by selling one dehumidifier more than you're currently selling. So the opportunity is real. And then when we look at the opportunity that presents itself from crawl space encapsulation, if I take a very conservative 450 a square foot on a small home, 1,200 square feet, you're talking about an additional $5,400 in encapsulation opportunity. 52 weeks a year. Again, you just did one encapsulation job a week. That's another $280,000 to the top line. You add that on top of the $118,000 in top line from adding a dehumidifier to those jobs, and you're talking about $400,000 in additional top line revenue. So again, the opportunity to both grow your business and to help your customers is pretty substantial here. And I definitely think it's something that you should look more into. What does the opportunity itself look like? Well, there's 70 million houses on crawl space foundations throughout the United States. And every year there's another 250,000 houses that are being built on crawl spaces. So not only is there an opportunity for you with the new construction market, but the replacement market as well, or vice versa. So even new homes, you could partner with builders in your area to encapsulate those crawl spaces and to put dehumidifiers in, and you could make yourself a good bit of money on that. This is a great way for you to differentiate your business as well. So you're talking about providing a permanent solution. It's a way greener way to control pests. And again, it's top line and bottom line revenue increases. It's awesome cash flow as well, awesome cash flow. And it requires zero capital investment on your part. So you get 50% down before you ever even do the job. If you're running a 50% margin, that means that every single thing you put into that job, you've been paid for in full up front. You're going to collect that job upon completion. So you'll be able to install and collect that job before your payroll is ever even due. So from a cash flow standpoint, it's awesome. The margins are awesome. What it does to your average ticket is also awesome. Again, there's no downside to doing this. It's also going to help to establish you as truly an expert in the pest control industry. You're going to be offering them multiple different solutions. Not every solution is right for every person. And you're going to have some people that are very hypersensitive to having chemicals sprayed in their house. And this is a great solution for those customers. It's a slam dunk. When we talk about dehumidification, customers may push back on you and they may give you the feedback, well, I can go down to the big box store and I can buy one of these things for $400. Yeah, you absolutely can, but they're not designed for crawl spaces. Matter of fact, if you check the UL rating, most of them, matter of fact, I don't know of any of them that are actually allowed to be used in a crawl space. Also, most of those have a pan that has to be emptied out. Nobody's going into their crawl space every 4 or 6 hours to empty out the pan. So this just, again, it's smoke and mirrors. They're just pushing an objection in front of you. They're easy to overcome. And the units that you buy at the big box store, they're not designed to be in a crawl space environment because crawl space environments are cold or environments. The big box units do not perform well. Our units are actually designed to be able to work in these cooler environments. So that's something that's also very important. Again, I want to stress that besides the pest control aspect of this, we're talking about being able to help prevent microbial growth from forming on wood. We're looking at diminishing odors. We're looking at, again, that green pest solution. and a more comfortable living area for the home as well. And it's going to protect their property, which is something that's also very important. So how can we help you? What are the ways that we're going to shine in this space? We are the industry leader in this space. We offer excellent customer service. We have complete and comprehensive product training and application training. Marketing and sales support. So we have all kinds of tools on our website, which is santa-fe-products.com. And you can go on there and you can download all of the different assets that we have. Our products are made in Madison, Wisconsin. Our products are engineered in Madison, Wisconsin. So you can take pride in that as well. When we look at other things that we offer, we have more sizes and more configurations than all of our competitors combined. We're the granddaddy of this space. We've got the longest warranty in the industry. Our warranty is 20% longer than our competitors. We have a 6-year parts warranty. We have a 2-year labor warranty, which is just unheard of in our industry. We've got the highest filtration ratings in our system in the industry. We've got MERV 13 filtrations. Our units are up to 40% more efficient than our competitors are. We have people that you can talk to that understand this stuff. All of our service technicians, all of our support staff are located stateside. We don't outsource our call centers overseas. So there's no language barrier, and they understand how American homes are built, and they understand the products very well. And these things they're built like a tank. These are light commercial pieces of equipment. Again, I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on this, but we're going to be able to help you out with things such as sizing. And we don't have enough time to get into those things today, but we have units that come in multiple different sizes and configurations. So I have units that are as small as a 33 pint a day dehumidifier all the way up to a 155. We have a classic, we call it the classic unit, and that's actually an upright unit. This is an awesome unit for basements. But again, as low as 33 pints a day, all the way up to 155 pints a day, and everywhere in between. So we're going to be able to help you with that. We're going to teach you how to install these things. Ideally, we'd like you to put some very basic flexible duct. Don't be afraid of that. We're basically talking about dryer vent on steroids. It's very easy to do, but we can train you on how and why you want to do that as well. We have new products that we're bringing out all the time. So this is our Oasis 105. It's a unit that has got a very advanced coil set in it. It's very energy efficient, and digital onboard control is very easy to set up. It's got a very powerful blower motor. So there's many different things that you can do with that unit. We have crawl space encapsulation training classes too that we run in Madison, Wisconsin that we'd love to see you at. We can take you through a 2-day course that's going to help you with everything that has to do with dehumidifications. I talked about our website. All of our digital assets are available for you on the website. We have a contractor portal that you can walk through with that. As you can see, you can download all of the different pieces of literature and documentation that we have on there. We have got a great sales team that's located throughout the entire United States where we're going to be able to help you out. So just some screenshots of our team members. Reach out to me and I'll get you in contact with the right person. And with that, I should have a whopping 18 seconds to go. So I appreciate your time, and I'll pass the torch to the next person. I will be around for questions at the end. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Bill. Great stuff. Up next, we have Stan E. Cope, PhD and VP of Technical Products and Services at AP&G. And I will get you set up here, Stan.
I don't hear Stan E. Cope very often. That was nice. Thank you.
There you go. You should be able to control it.
Okay, I can barely see the slide there. Well, good day, everybody from Illinois. You just heard from, I think, Madison, Wisconsin. I'm about 2 hours south of them for those of you who are geographically challenged. I'm sure many of you are familiar with our Catchmaster products. So thank you for whatever you're using them for. And I'm going to tell you about a couple more today dealing specifically with mosquito control. Now, let's see if I can get this to go. I've lost the control too. It seems to come on and then disappear.
Stan, you can try using the arrows on your keyboard of your computer as well.
I'm trying everything.
All right, Jeff, you may have to drive that one.
Fine. I'll move you along, Stan. You just want to say next and I'll get to the next.
Yeah, now I can see it and then it fades away. You can go ahead to the next one. So we're going to talk about mosquitoes today. 15 minutes isn't nearly enough time to talk about a full mosquito service. So we're going to just touch on a few key points. In the United States, in the world, we have about 3,500 different kinds of mosquitoes, not a big number. In tropical North America, there's about 175. And in the individual states, Texas leads the way with 85. So congratulations to those of you who are listening from Texas, if you want to claim that. But very few of those ever are actually going to be breeding in our customers' yards. Lots of different kinds of mosquitoes have long flight ranges, several miles, so they can be breeding quite a distance from a customer's yard, yet flying in there and feeding and then flying off or resting there. But my focus today are on just a few species that are what we call backyard container breeders. Most of them are in the genus Aedes. Here pictured is the yellow fever mosquito, Aedes aegypti. Let's see if I can do this with my arrows now. No, I'm going to need you, Jeff, again. This mosquito is the Asian tiger mosquito, which is now occurring in all or parts of 40 states in the US. You can tell it by that nice white stripe that has the yellow arrow on it. It's the only mosquito in the United States that has that stripe. That mosquito is the -- reason for the substantial rise in revenue production in private industry mosquito control. These two are closely related. Their habits and control measures are pretty similar. And then the third mosquito I just want to mention, go ahead, please, is our common house mosquito. You see a female here. And I just want to point out, I'll come back to it. She has landed directly on a water source there and has proceeded to lay her eggs. You can see them, all the little white things there. And she's using her legs to form them into what's called a raft. And the point here is that she's landed on the water and is laying all her eggs there on the water. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, keep going. Two more clicks. One more and then one more. Good, beautiful. You're hired. Oh, back. You're fired, hired and fired. Just to let you know what's going on in the world, dengue fever alone, a very significant disease. In the Americas in 2021, there were 1.2 million documented clinical cases. 2022, that number more than doubled to 2.8 million. So that's for dengue fever only. I've listed the other diseases here that the yellow fever mosquito and the Asian tiger mosquito can transmit. But my point about this is these places are no longer very far away from us. You can be anywhere in the world in 24 hours. And we learned this with the Zika epidemic in 2016 when we had 225 locally acquired cases in Florida. So the threat from these viruses is going to continue to rise. So just a couple of key points here that I need to make before I talk about products. Remember, I told you those Culex mosquitoes and most other kinds of mosquitoes, actually, they land directly on the water, as you saw. They lay all their eggs directly there on the water, and those eggs hatch within 2 or 3 days. There's no resistance. The eggs have to hatch, and the larvae will then emerge and develop. These Aedes mosquitoes, on the other hand, including the yellow fever mosquito that you see here, they practice something that's called skip oviposition. And I don't know if you can see my pointer, but simply what this means is the female does not land on the water and lay all her eggs directly on that water. Instead, when she enters a property, she will literally skip around the property. She'll fly around and try to put just a few eggs in as many potential breeding sites as she can, such as a bird bath, a tire swing, a child's toy, a tree hole, a clogged gutter. So she's going to go all around that customer's yard, contaminating, if you will, as many possible breeding sites as she can. That's known as skip oviposition. The second point is she doesn't put those eggs on the water. You can see this bowl here on the top right. This is from a laboratory. And you can see all these black things here. Those are all mosquito eggs, and they're just above the water line. So if you picture a bird bath, the female mosquito is going to land vertically just above the water line, and then she proceeds to glue her eggs one by one above that water line, whether it's in a tire or, as I said, a bird bath or whatever. Those eggs can sit there for a year or more until they're flooded, and then they will hatch within about 10 minutes. So this is a wonderful survival mechanism. It's a wonderful dispersal mechanism, overwintering mechanism. So the fact that these eggs are drought resistant is one of the main reasons why they're so hard to control and why they continue to spread around the country. And then finally, I just want to mention the flight range. As I said, some mosquitoes will fly several miles before they feed. These backyard Aedes mosquitoes, they generally only fly about 100 yards or less from the water that they grew up in, that they bred in. And we'll come back to that when we talk about trapping. Okay, go ahead, please, kind sir, Mr. Wizard. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. You can read this. I'm not going to read it to you, but this is a 10-inch frying pan in the Peach State, Georgia, in a customer's yard. And my point is the numbers of these mosquitoes can become astronomical in just a short period of time. Next, please. So just go ahead and put up all 7 of these steps, please, if you don't mind. These are really the 7 steps you want to think about in your mosquito program. If you get nothing else out of this, we need to get away from what I call spray and pray, soak and hope, or blow and go. Against these container breeding mosquitoes, it just doesn't work and you're going to have failure. So the first step in a service, if you need it, is an initial knockdown. Sometimes a customer's property may be inundated with adult mosquitoes, and there's really no way to take care of those unless you knock them down. Obviously, an inspection is an important key. Remember that 100 mosquitoes can develop in something the size of a bottle cap, so you need to find every single one of them. Source reduction, we have several good larvicides. We're not going to talk about that today. I'll mention 5 and 6 here in a minute. And then finally, customer education. And I want to stress here, part of that is managing their expectations. We have too many companies that advertise that will eradicate all your mosquitoes if you use our service, and we just can't do that. Go ahead and click again, please. Just keep going. They're going to come in here. I made it way too fancy. I just need you to back up one. I'm sorry. One more. Okay, there. So let's talk a little bit about traps. This is the one that we make, or one of the ones that we make at Catchmaster. But my point is, now in our industry, there are several different kinds of mosquito traps that are black and plastic, but they don't do the same types of things. They will do different things for your mosquito service. They're targeted for different types of mosquitoes, and there's a lot of science behind them. Obviously, this thing just looks like a black bucket because that's what it is, but this particular trap was actually developed by scientists at our Centers for Disease Control. So if you're thinking about using traps, and I would encourage you to do so, talk to your technical folks and others about what you need. So this is our Catchmaster OV Catch. Then go ahead and roll it. This is our 2nd generation. This is called the OV Planter. It's a little more aesthetically pleasing. Go ahead. This is a view from the top down, and I'll explain all this in a minute. It comes with this fancy little garland on top, which you can use during Halloween and go to your party as Julius Caesar if you want to. Then go ahead. And then we have a 3rd one that is now available. It's called the Oasis. It's a mini version of these. They all work exactly the same way. And so in the remaining time, let's just briefly discuss these. Go ahead. On your left, you can see the OV Planter in situ there between a couple of bushes. On the right is the glue board on which the mosquitoes are captured. These traps have absolutely no pesticides in them, which is one of the differentiating factors between it and our competitors. But next to the yellow arrows there, you can clearly see two adult yellow fever mosquitoes on the glue board. You're not going to see, you shouldn't see lots and lots of mosquitoes on these glue boards if you're doing your job with source reduction and other things. But in areas, and what you're seeing now, this is in Puerto Rico where these traps were developed. All of those little black things that you see there are mosquitoes from just 1 week, and this was in an area where no other control was being done. Next, please. So just very briefly on the right here, this is a blow up. That is the capture chamber that is part of this trap. And again, these traps all work exactly the same way. There's a screen there that fits down inside the capture chamber. Here is one of our handy dandy, highly sophisticated Catchmaster glue boards with a special glue just for mosquitoes. There's a lid that snaps in place. And then if you'll hit the slides, please. That capture chamber then, one more. That capture chamber then goes into the lid, which then snaps down right on top of that bucket. The bucket is then filled up to this water line. There are some slits here to prevent any water from the bucket from filling, so the water will drain out. Next, please. And then in this schematic, this is a bucket over here with a see-through. What you do is you simply put a little bit of organic matter, a handful of alfalfa, little piece of dog food, some dried grass, dried leaves, down in the water that's in the trap, and it creates what we call an infusion, which is simply some soup, if you will, that smells good, and it's going to actually attract the female mosquito. She'll be flying around the yard. Remember that skip over position. She's going to fly around the yard, and she'll fly over this or around it, and she'll sense that this is a good place to go in and lay her eggs. She flies down in there. She can't get to the water source. She'll land vertically on the wall inside the capture chamber, and she gets stuck on that glue board, and she's done. Next, please. Just go bring all these up. Go ahead, and I'll talk about them one by one. Keep going until the screen is full. Okay, so mathematics teaches us that for every one female mosquito that's caught, you take up to 1,000 eggs out of the population. Remember with skip over position, if you just have a couple of these on the customer's property, because of the fact that that female is going to fly all around, she'll eventually go in here and get caught, and you can see her in the trap, and she's done. The trap is being used in some IPM programs out in California. And the last bullet here is an important one. It will indicate nearby breeding sites because of that short flight range. So these can serve as monitoring devices to tell you that maybe you're not finding all the breeding sites. Okay, next. I've just got about a minute left here. Keep going. So I just want to mention our final feed. We have this back. I'll just briefly mention it. This is the one and only bait available for mosquitoes. The active ingredient is microencapsulated garlic, and the matrix of the bait is natural sugars. Go ahead. Just bring up all three of these bullet points here. This is why it works. Every day, both male and female mosquitoes require a sugar meal for energy. And on the left here, you see a nice picture of a mosquito getting her sugar meal. So they get this from plants, and you simply apply final feed to non-flowering vegetation, and it mimics this natural sugar source. They ingest it, and the microencapsulated garlic kills them. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm right at 15 minutes. There are a few handouts with some information available. If you're more interested in the traps, there's a video available at just video Catchmaster mosquito traps YouTube, and you'll find several. I'm not going to be able to get to that slide, so let's just go ahead and cut it off there. It works.
All right. Thank you very much, Stan. I appreciate it. Up next, we have Aaron Montegudo, who is our own Senior Technical Content and Training Specialist at Veseris. And Aaron, I will give control over to you. Let me know if you have any issues.
Oh, can I move my own slides, or I have to have you advance?
That's not a service I provide to everybody. So see if you're able to move them or not.
Okay. Yes, I think I can. Can I? Or is that you? Awesome. Okay, that's me. Sorry for everybody. So I'd like to talk to you today about our pro training online courses. I think a lot of people, because they've been around for a long time, since the late 1990s, associate them with CEUs. And we've been changing that format for a very long time, as long as I've been here, which is about 10 years, to provide better education first. And if there's a benefit for having the CEUs available, then you also get that as a bonus. So we really want to talk more about how you can use our pro training courses to onboard new employees or educate employees. You could be office staff, it could be salespeople as well, with our online courses. So first, we lead with, these are high quality educational courses. If you haven't had a chance to take one recently, I want to let you know that my experience with these in pest control has been mostly in the field. So in my time before coming to Veseris, I would ride along with technicians, just to see how their initial training was going and just focus on more things where they needed help with. I was also a supervisor in New York City with my own accounts, and I also was in charge of onboarding our new technicians and having a whole training program. So I also know how to speak with customers as well, because I had my own customers to deal with. So I, over time, got, basically I can figure out when technicians and customers had light bulb moments. Like, how do I need to say something in a way that they're understanding it, in a way that it's clicking? I don't want to go too over their heads. I want to make it so that they can understand what I'm saying, but I also wanted my own technicians to be able to do that themselves when they spoke with their own customers. So this is where we're coming from with these courses. When I say high quality educational courses, it's not because it's highly academic. It's more of coming from the point of view of technicians and being able to have them understand why they're doing what they're doing and also communicate it to their customers. Our courses are available year-round, on demand, whenever you need to take whenever you need them. It's not something that you have to attend when it's not on your schedule per se, but these are available exactly when you hire your technicians, or whenever you feel like maybe they need a refresher. The technicians that have been here long term. So yes, they can earn CEUs, but they can also be used for new employee training. Um, because it's documentable. So in some states, you can use in-house training for the on-the-job training for employees that are going to go on in the process to get their new licenses. So whenever they take a course and have a certificate for it, that's documentable training that can go towards the training the state requires for them to get their licenses. Also training office and sales staff, office, especially because most of them are communicating with customers. They can understand better what the customer might be dealing with and how to communicate it better to the tech who's going to be dealing with that situation. And also sales staff, because the more technical knowledge they have, the better they can communicate to the customer, but also realize when it's a job that's going to require more time, not overpromise and then cause the company to underdeliver, that kind of thing. And also refresher courses for experienced employees. So let's say there's a trend. Right now, your trend might be the technicians aren't really dealing with their B&Gs properly, causing a lot of damage. We have a compressed air sprayer course that you might decide, you know what, it's time for these guys to get a refresher course on how to use their B&Gs and maintain them themselves. So they're always there. Let's say they're having an issue with cockroaches, with domestic cockroaches. You're not getting a lot of results from your technicians. You could always assign a refresher course that'll help them understand maybe what they might be doing wrong in the field. We also have supplier courses, which are available to anyone for free. In addition to having technical training, if you use particular products and you want your technicians to be more versed in that product, we may have a course for that product from our suppliers. So I think there's a Syngenta mosquito program that would help them understand mosquitoes better, or the Syngenta products that they're using against those mosquitoes. Or we have AP&G courses probably. So just look at our supplier courses and see what's available for your particular products that you use. We also have an ACE prep series because I I truly believe in the ACE program, and a lot of technicians, supervisors are interested in getting ACE certified, but they usually stop at taking the test. Everybody's studying on long term and wants to take that test, but the test usually stops them. So our ACE prep series is based on the the study guide that ESA has put out, and we have a module for each chapter in that study guide that is, instead of you having to write out cards or highlight things, we've taken care of that so you can learn more in a digital sense, and you can go back to that training constantly. And we take all of those chapters, the 13 chapters, and we make a massive review exam out of it. And that might be kind of overwhelming for some people, but if I take all the questions that have been, from the study guide, and then you can go through them as a practice exam, and you can get like a 70, 75, whatever the actual ACE exam needs, you should be more comfortable with taking that real exam. So we're really trying to get over that hump that most people run into with, I'm scared of taking the exam, I'm not a good test taker, by having this practice exam that has everything possible we can think of from these 13 training modules. And so that is great to have for your employees if they're interested, and helps motivate them more to go ahead and take it by kind of going through a sample of it. And then we have free business courses that are very modern, or free to Veseris customers, and they're very modern, very interactive. They include training that's video based in case someone likes to be spoken to and learns better that way, or reading based. They're interactive. They come from our software provider, and they're amazing. And we also include some micro learning as well, which is becoming more and more popular. So we have a wide variety of opportunities with our online courses that are not just CEUs. This is a slide of what the courses may look like. This is our common spiders and their management course, and this is an example of a sac spider. We don't go into too much entomological detail unless it's necessary. I, in particular, don't take out keys and try to identify things. Even if I'm in the office and someone has me, I really, as far as spiders are concerned, it's, I know what a brown recluse is, and I know what the brown and black widows are. And then beyond that, I don't really want to identify unless they really want to get down to it. So we're helping technicians when they're in the field focus on, what are these medically important ones that we really do need to make sure we know what we're talking about. And if your customer's curious and you can tell them, oh, that's a sac spider, that's an orb weaver, that helps, that enforces the relationship with the customers, with the technician, that they actually do know what they're talking about and can say it with confidence. So we don't come from like a super highly academic point of view. It's more like, hey, help you understand what you're dealing with and communicate it better with your customer, which really enforces that relationship when they feel like you know what you're talking about. This is an example of how you'd use it for new employee training. I think I actually skipped structural. So over on the left would be probably core courses that most technicians are going to need. Thing going over labels and STS, your compressed air sprayers, insecticide application, what IPM is, those sorts of things. And if they're on the structural side, then you could pick the pests that are more important to you, or that are more regular for you, like ant biology, that spider course, cockroaches, bed bugs, rodents, stored products. We have a wide variety of pests, and you can include with that the supplier courses that use the products that you would like them to focus on when dealing with these pests. So you can very much use this for new employee training, and not just for when they're certified and they need CEUs. This is an example of wood destroying organisms. If your tech is going to be focusing on wood destroying organisms, then instead of focusing on ants and rodents and bed bugs, it would be subterranean termites, termite biology, wood boring beetles, and wood infecting fungi, and also those supplier courses that go along with those as well. This is our ACE Prep series. So these are the 13 chapters that are in the ESA study guide, and we have a course that corresponds with just that particular topic. If somebody wants to focus on that chapter, they can take that course, and they can take it over and over and over again over a 6-month period until they decide to take the exam. Our number 14 is that review exam that I talked about. That is all of the questions from these courses. It's about 300 or more, 300 and more questions that they can take it easy. It's not a real exam. Just go into it and see how you did and figure out where your weak points are. And you can take this review exam as many times as you want until you feel comfortable that you'd be able to take the real certification exam. So this is an example of the ANT course. We go over, the sociality, division of labor, only if it was in the study guide. Nothing else in here is really added to it. We're making sure that we are focusing on the points that the study guide makes. So we don't go off on tangents. Everything that's in this course is based off of that chapter in the study guide. An example of our free business courses are dealing with stress, pressure, and burnout, how to build better relationships with your boss and coworkers, problem solving. That's been a very good one, a very popular one is problem solving, fundamentals, time management essentials, working with upset customers. That's another popular one. We have more than that. We're adding one every month. In addition to micro learning courses that would take about 15 minutes, and those have been popular as well. Because again, this is not all about the technical side of things. It's about how to relate to customers, how to work with your coworkers, how to hire good talent. We have also a sexual harassment one for the technicians and then for the office staff. If you have a chance, when you're exploring, just really explore our business courses. They're not, I joke around, I was like, none of them are backlit with blue light like a 1990s training course or business course. So this is available for free, and definitely check them out when you have a chance. This is what they would look like. They are modern, interactive. They have videos in them. If a person's not a great reader and learns better by being spoken to, they're also mobile friendly. So using them on a tablet or a phone, it adjusts properly. They can pretty much take them anywhere. And they're just beautiful. Like there's nothing that I'd be able to do on the technical side, although I try my best. These are wonderful. So in summary, Pro Training Online is a trusted source for principally high quality technical courses, and you can also bring in there the business courses as well. But we have high quality courses that, as a bonus, earn CEUs. So reconsider using them for new employee training, training your office and sales staff as refresher courses for experienced employees. An employee should never stop learning. A technician should never stop learning. There's always something new. You could take a course once and take it 3 years later and get a totally different message from it. So even experienced employees can use refresher courses. The supplier courses, which are free, which may address products that you specifically use that you want your the technicians to brush up on. The ACE Prep series, it's great, and I would love to get more feedback on it, but I think in this industry there's a lot of buzz about it, but I think people are just kind of scared of the test. So if you have one of your employees that are interested, let them know, hey, this is a great review exam that you can kind of just keep going through it until you feel like you're ready, so you don't feel so scared about that day of the test, right? And then our free business courses for Veseris customers. And to directly go to Pro Training, it is pestweb.com/Pro Training. Once you join or log in, you'll be able to see the entire course catalog, the supplier courses, the ACE Prep, and the business courses for yourself. So that's it for me. We can, I guess, move on to questions for everybody.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Sarah.
much, Karen.
Sorry,
Go ahead,
Jeff, I
Chris.
think I stepped on your
No,
toes.
I was gonna turn it on over to you. I apologize. Thank
Yeah,
you, Aaron.
yeah, great. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and start checking out the questions that have come in. And the first one is asking, what data do you have that shows Doxum NXT lasts up to 180 days? So Brittany, this one's definitely for you.
Absolutely. So essentially, I didn't really have time to go through all of the data and the quick, just dump of information that we did for all of you. But in order to get registration of Doxum, many of our products, essentially what we do is we take the product, we spray it onto a surface. This is all dictated by the EPA. So typically it's going to be a tile surface or a wood surface because that porosity is really going to impact that active ingredient. So just think a tile, the product will sit on tile and be more available to a bug. Whereas if it's wood, it's going to soak into the wood. It's not as available. So we do it on multiple surfaces. We take those surfaces and then we age them. So literally we spray them and then we leave them alone for 180 days and we put pests on them. So cockroaches, we have data of pests that have basically been on those surfaces after they aged 180 days.
Thanks, Brittany. Here's a question for you, Stan, asking, what are the main differences between the Catchmaster mosquito traps and some of the other ones that are on the market?
Yeah, I briefly mentioned that. I guess probably the main difference is that ours is pesticide free. At least two of the other main competitors each have 2 pesticides involved in them. There's obviously a difference in price. There's a difference in how many that you need to use. So the usage pattern is different. And I think probably the main difference is because we have a glue board, you catch the mosquitoes in the trap, and when a technician opens the trap and examines the glue board, they can see that they've caught some mosquitoes, and it indicates to them that perhaps their program is working or that they need to look around for some breeding sites because of that limited flight range. So there's probably something going on in the customer's property that they haven't found out about. Some of the other traps are designed so that the female mosquito flies in, but she's able to fly out. She actually doesn't get caught in the trap. I think those are probably the main differences.
Thanks, Stan. Brittany, another one for you is asking, do customers need to step out when applying Doxum NXT?
As a general practice, I tend to always go with yes. Now, I don't believe, and don't quote me on this, I don't believe that it's specified, but I would absolutely encourage you to go read the label. I can't remember all of the aspects of every label. But even if it's not specified on that label, I always encourage as a good practice to ask customers to leave the area during treatment.
All right, Stan, here's one for you asking, can the Catchmaster glue board get wet and how long until it needs to be changed?
That's a great question. No matter which of the traps you use, they fit into a nice service model, whether it's 21 days or 30 days. Yes, the glue can get wet. The glue boards have been tested in 140-degree heat in Arizona. The glue does not run. In case you don't know it, the owner of Catchmaster is also the chemist who makes our glues. Most people don't know that, but he has his own little glue laboratory at our facility in New Jersey. So the glue boards and also the water inside the bucket that you're using to attract the mosquitoes, we recommend that you change it every 30 days, but it's really a case-by-case basis.
All right. Bill, here's one for you. How much does it cost to run a dehumidifier per month?
That is a great question. It's going to vary a little bit by the state that you live in because electric rates are going to be different. But if you look at a 70-pint dehumidifier, if it were to run 24/7, 365 for a month, which it will not do, it may run for quite a bit when you first install it to get everything dried out, but after that, it's only got to keep up with the moisture that's in the air. But if it were run 24/7, 365 in most states, it'd be probably $40 a month. But I don't think that you would experience that in the real world on an ongoing basis.
Bill, another one for you is asking, what's the warranty on your products?
I'm sure you cut out, was that to me as well?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. As I mentioned earlier, we've got the best warranty in the industry. We have a warranty that's 20% longer than our competitors. We've got a 6-year parts warranty, and we have a 2-year labor warranty on our units. So that's something that we're pretty proud of.
Bill, you're popular. Here's another one for you asking, how noisy are the units?
Great question. So these units will make the same noise in the same decibel level relatively to a dorm room refrigerator. So once they're installed, they're pretty quiet, and once they're ducted, they become even more, they become quieter. When you place them, it's always important to be sensitive to where you're placing them. I always recommend that people place them under the laundry room or under the kitchen. In other words, in areas where they're used to mechanical appliances. Don't put it directly under somebody's bedroom. While they are very quiet, don't go out of your way looking for a problem.
That's good advice. Aaron, here's a question for you asking, you said the business courses are free to Veseris customers. I haven't bought anything from Veseris in a while. Are they still free to me? Oh, you're muted.
As long as you have a Veseris account number, the business courses are free.
Very good. Brittany, here's another one for you asking, how does a 4-way combination product combat insecticide resistance?
Absolutely, great questions. So I do get a lot of questions about the combination of active ingredients, but from our perspective at CSI, we really try to be thoughtful in the combinations that we create. Oftentimes, they are products that are often going to be combined in treatments that we have had conversations with pest control operators who are already kind of combining some of these actives. So we want to formulate them in a way that makes sense from the application rate perspective to limit any mixing issues. But essentially, we're thoughtful in the fact that the combinations that we're creating are entirely different modes of action. So if there is some type of resistance in an insect, we are combating them in different ways. So active ingredients that are from completely different groups and they act on a different part of the insect, whether it's the target site is some type of nerve, or there's enzymes bugs are producing, and it's getting around those enzymes. They just work in an entirely different way in these combinations. And I do want to mention, going back to someone's question regarding whether people can be in an area, I did check again on that label, and there is a restriction, so do not apply Doxim NXT in any occupied spaces.
Thanks, Brittany. Stan, here's one for you. Asking, will the Catchmaster mosquito traps and the Final Feed mosquito bait attract mosquitoes from my neighbor's yard into mine?
That's a great question. The short answer is no. A female mosquito, when she's looking for a host to bite, the number one thing that attracts her is carbon dioxide, and she can sense that from, we think, 75 to 100 yards. The Final Feed is only attractive from, we think, approximately 6 feet. There are some field studies that indicate it's about that distance, which is why you can use it as a spot treatment, not as a full barrier spray. And the mosquito traps, no matter which one you use, are just attractive for probably 3 to 5 feet away. So that's a great question, and the answer is no.
Thank you. Looks like we have time for one more question. And Aaron, this one's for you, asking, how do you suggest using the online courses for new employee training?
Like I was saying, it's a documentable, it makes documentable training, and you have to check in the state I'm originally from Florida, and I know in Florida they allow in-house training to be part of on-the-job training when they're trying to get their licenses. So it's not much you have to do. It's just the fact that it creates a certificate and it's documentable. It'll say what date they did it. And then how I outlined how you can use all of the core courses and then structure the pest courses depending on what your technicians are dealing with. So I would just first check with your state and make sure that in-house training can be part of their training for getting certified. But other than that, if they're okay with it, then you basically create a record whenever they take a course.
Thanks, Erin. Well, with that, I just want to thank all of our wonderful presenters today, and I want to thank our attendees for taking time out of your busy days to attend this webinar. So have a great rest of your day, and like I said, in a couple of days, be on the lookout for the email that has all of the presenter contact information as well as the recording to the webinar. Thanks, everyone.